Good morning, everybody. Today is July 8th, Saturday, 2026, and today's tropical weather discussion and national forecast will be going over the Super El Nino currently producing in the eastern Pacific, as well as those extreme precipitation possibilities across north central California and the southeast this upcoming winter. Okay, everybody. As we can see right here, Super Typhoon Dolphin currently has maximum sustained winds of 145 miles per hour. Still a very strong system. I anticipate to hit Japan, at least the southern islands of Japan, with around Category 1 to Category 2 force winds there, with gusts of around 130 at that time. Now, at this moment, Dolphin has undergone another eye wall replacement. As you can see, that eye is beginning to weaken again. So it does have that potential to undergo another eye wall replacement by tonight. And from this is the weakening cycle of Typhoon Dolphin. So we don't expect to see much more out of this system other than potential impacts across the southern Japanese islands. Although it could stretch more south, it could stretch more north. That's just my personal and forecasted area of impact, at least for now. I will inform you guys further if this system does happen to re-strengthen or as it edges closer towards those southern Japanese islands. All right, everybody, looking here at our wide Atlantic model, we are seeing some pretty strong persistent convection coming up off of here, this southern Yucatan Peninsula area. Um, Definitely some strong storms through there, definitely a little area to watch for potential heavy rainfall in areas like that. And, very interestingly, looking up here in the North Atlantic, um, just as middle Atlantic as you can get, we're seeing a lot of circulation. We are seeing some really strong circulation with convection to go with it as well. So it's a very, very interesting little spot there for sure. But a spot we have been watching with a lot of tropical waves coming off and feeding some potential for maybe tropical development is right here off that southwest coast of Africa. Um, Obviously, it's staying persistent with producing convection. It's not like out here in the Gulf where there will be random waves. No, they're all feeding off of each other. Although we do have some dry air off to the north here. That's gonna minimize it, but it is expected um to reach the Virgin Islands here. So if it does reach the Caribbean, I will say this will be something to keep an eye on as of right now, because if it does manage to get there to the Caribbean, that's where it will start to feed off of really warm waters. Obviously, there's still gonna be some upper level wind shear there. Gonna see some minimizing impacts if something does develop, but obviously any impact could be devastating depending on the area that it hits. So that's really why we want to watch these few tropical waves that are just coming off the coast of Southwest Africa, because as we know, history shows us even with these super El Ninos, anything coming off of the main development region is going to persist and bring those tropical waves no matter those conditions. But that's all we got for the wide Atlantic. Now, this coral reef watch sea surface temperature anomaly is showing um this El Nino extra bold, that 1+2 and 3.4 region absolutely historically explosive, and it is absolutely destroying the charts right now. There are no words to explain how powerful this El Nino is and is going to proceed to be. You know, I am expecting to see up to 6 degrees Celsius above average in this 1+2 potentially. And what this is going to do essentially is we will go more in depth to this later. It's going to bring a lot of rain to the southeast. We're talking, and this is going to be for my local viewers, Central Florida and the Florida Peninsula will be getting historic rain numbers in excess of maybe even 44 inches of rain, which is absolutely just off the charts, okay? And with that comes a severe weather threat as well. So, this is really something we need to be watching. And another area we'll be bringing that excessive rainfall threat to is that north central California area. Expecting to see some historic numbers up there by far, specifically Sacramento. We'll be seeing some really, really, really heavy rain. But that is all we got for this chart as of right now. Okay, everybody, looking here at our 1+2 region chart, just destroys every historic number we have seen in recent years. Or not even in recent years, in any years. I apologize, any years. We're looking at 4 degrees Celsius above average already. Or should I say 3.964. So essentially 4 degrees above average was already broken, as you can see here, around August 1st. Now, we are on the 8th. It's going to rise again as we get more of those um pockets of heat that build out there in the Eastern Pacific. Because that is just how the Pacific likes to move during these El Niños, builds off of these pockets of heat. And so obviously with this heat content, like I said, historic numbers, I mean off the charts. And this is just the 1+2. This isn't accounting for the 3.4. So honestly, this is half the issue. Alright, everybody, looking at our 3.4 region, um, matching that 1+2 with that rise of intensity, we are looking at 2.505 degrees Celsius above average right now. We just saw around 2.6 about 2-3 days ago. So we're gonna have that rise and fall because that's how science works, right? But we're gonna have more of a rise than a fall, always, at least until late fall, early winter, maybe. So we just really, it's a matter of watching how this El Nino pattern wants to persist. Now, let's say it continues to rise up to 7 degrees above average. That's when we are really issuing advisories on potential severe weather, right? That's when we are going to be really, really watching the southeast and really watching that Northern California area for extremely heavy rain and extremely severe weather. And we are talking uncharted territory, folks. So that is really what we need to watch with this Super El Nino. Alrighty, everybody, looking here at weather front, we did have a a wall cloud report here in Ottumwa area of Iowa, just near Keosauqua and Bonaparte. Now, whether it touched down or not, I'm still fairly unsure. I didn't look too deeply into this report. Um, but I do know we did have another area of circulation just around Lafayette, just north of Indianapolis. Now Tucson, under a mesoscale discussion, looking at a potential for high winds there, 55 to 70 miles an hour. Definitely a little spot to watch. You know, just keep an eye on that weather down there. Now, if we want to take a look here at our convective weather outlook, yes, from Phoenix to El Paso, we are seeing a marginal risk for severe weather, and that primary threat would just be wind, 5% risk, but definitely something to keep in mind. Now, Amarillo, Texas, 5% hail, 5% wind risk as well. Definitely something to keep in mind as well, as there is some pretty decent convection in those spots. And then Little Rock area as well as far north as Salem, seeing wind risk of 5% there. And then Now, as we go here to Des Moines and Ottumwa area, we're looking at a 2% tornado risk, 15% hail risk, and 15% wind risk. Biggest threat to watch, for sure. Now, it will persist across pieces of the Midwest that goes through central and southeast Wisconsin, all the way into the UP of Michigan and northern Wisconsin. Seeing a 15% wind risk, sub 5 hail, sub 2 tornado, but still seeing some risk. There's definitely something to watch. Now, looking here at Valentine, Nebraska area, we are saying that 5% hail risk, definitely something to keep in mind there. Now, if we want to take a look at, let's see, let's take a look, let's see, satellite imagery here. Obviously, as I stated, some pretty decent convection near Amarillo, um, Tucumcari, I think that's how you pronounce it, and even Macomb, Burlington, Illinois area, seeing some pretty decent convection. Now, down here in Florida, also seeing some, especially off the east coast of Florida, specifically central east coast. Some strong thunderstorms out there. So boating is going to be a little bit difficult for those smaller boats. As we can see, and then obviously some thunderstorms here throughout Polk County, Tampa, Sarasota County, Highlands County, even Lake County there. So that's why we do look at our satellite imagery, because it does show how this convection really moves. Now, if we want to take a look at what's it called? Our temperature outlooks. Still hot here in the southwest, 105 Lake Havasu City, 102 Phoenix, 100 Mexicali. Still definitely spots to watch. Make sure to keep cool because it is going to be hot, folks. Now, we do have our wind patterns as well. Not much wind down here where this hot air is, so there's not much of a break you're going to catch there. It's going to remain very, very, very warm. Now, if we want to look at our HR analysis, also agreeing that it is extremely hot down here in the southwest, no disagreement whatsoever here. And then, if we want to take a look, as well as all of this, at, let's see, let's take a look at, back at our base reflectivity. Let's look at our rain mix snow intensity. So obviously seeing some pretty strong thunderstorms here through Kingston, Ponca, Jasper, Harrison, areas of Arkansas. And then Indianapolis, not necessarily Indianapolis, but east of Indianapolis into parts of Ohio here, Eaton, Ohio, Camden, Ohio, Lewisburg, Ohio, Burkeville, Ohio. Seeing some severe thunderstorms there. Definitely an area to keep an eye on. To stay informed in case tornado warning does get issued. And then Poplar Bluff area has some storms moving in here, as seen. Just this spot to watch right here as it does begin to move that way. So it will continue to move to, the east as these storms have been trending the past couple of days, although in the southeast we have been having some storms trend west, which isn't unheard of, so that's why we are watching these fairly closely. Now here in Florida, it's pretty evident here that we have been having some pretty long pop-up storms which have been moving to the northwest necessarily, and they will continue to once the Bermuda High begins to let up a little bit and stop necessarily just tossing all these storms to the north, because as you know, high pressure systems move counterclockwise, so they will continue to throw the systems to the north. But that is all we really have right now for the national forecast, because there isn't too much going on, but there is just enough to necessarily cover severe weather potential. Okay, everybody, looking here at the National Hurricane Center, looking here at the Atlantic, absolutely nothing. We are as dry as it gets. Now, I wouldn't be too surprised if they put a lemon down here off the southwest coast of Africa, just for that possibility, as models are beginning to agree slightly more that something could be possible out there, but that's about it for the Atlantic as of right now. Now, the Pacific is still a different story. Um, you know, Disturbance 1 here, 40% chance in the next 7 days. I think it's going to develop, and I think Hawaii is going to need to watch this extremely closely here, as this does have that possibility of development that I think will develop. Now, Disturbance 2 with that 20% chance of development. Do I think it's going to develop? I think it has a really, really, really significant chance to. Now, if I'm 100% certain, I'm not going to say I am, because I'm just going off of how storms have been trending this year. But generally, anything that has been going north has been getting torn apart by the jet stream lately. But if it can stay south enough, I think that obviously Disturbance 2 will develop in that case, that it can stay slow and steady and slowly move northwestward. Now, that is all we really have for the Pacific as of right now, other than obviously in the western Pacific area, we are seeing Typhoon Dolphin and I think another tropical storm I forget the name of, but that is all we have as of right now. Alright, everybody, if you found tonight's weather discussion helpful, informative, and life-saving, please subscribe, like, and potentially share your family and friends, because I'd really appreciate that. And one thing I would like to say is I do apologize for not being able to upload lately. I have been dealing with a lot of out of YouTube issues, so I will make sure to try to keep up and stay persistent with you guys, as I know I'm new on here, and the algorithm would favor if I do stay persistent on here. So I will try my best to keep up with you guys, as I do really want to keep you guys informed, and I want you guys to keep coming back to my content, because I really appreciate when you do. But like I said, guys, thank you so much for clicking on this video and taking your time to watch it. And please stay informed and subscribe for more. And other than that, make sure to be safe, stay informed, remember that anything can happen. Have a good rest of your day, guys.